It's great to have you with us, Darryl Strawberry. My name is Tony McIntosh with WRGA Radio. I've got Dr. Don Dowless, president of Shorter University here. And we're kind of facilitating today's conversation. It's great to have you here, and I hope things are going well for you right now.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to being with you guys. I know it's going to be a wonderful time, a wonderful event. So I'm always excited about participating in these type of events.
Well, it's 150 years at Shorter University, and we're going to talk about that in a few moments. But Darryl, let me ask you to kind of give us a little bit about your background and your early life.
Well, my background was really struggle. You know, it was a dysfunction. I grew up in a broken home. My dad was a raised alcoholic and used to beat the crap out of me. Came home last time when I was about 14 years old, pulled out a shotgun, said he was going to kill the whole family. And, you know, had it not been for my mother getting me and my brothers out of the house, we probably would have killed him that night. I always say it could have been a tragedy in my life before I ever put the uniform on. So what I explain about that and mean about that, I was already broken before I ever put a baseball uniform on. So brokenness is real. And if you never allow yourself to be healed, you'll continue to carry that brokenness with you. And I carried it on into my professional career playing baseball. You know, I was great at playing baseball. Putting on a uniform didn't make me a man, it just made me a baseball player. So I think that's important for people to know and understand, you know, there's more to find out about yourself, you know, after all you've been through. And I was able to do that, you know, throughout the trials and tribulations of my life, and to become the man that I am today, the man of faith, and live according to the biblical principles, and evangelist, and travel this nation 250 times out of the year now preaching the gospel. So, you know, God has a plan, you know, and that's the most important thing.
Well, Darryl, describe your baseball career and tell us a little bit about what it was like being one of the most feared home run hitters. I remember you in the early days with the Mets and then with the Dodgers and such, and you made a lot of people sweat when you came up to bat.
Well, I'll tell you this, it was easy being a baseball player. You know, an athlete is one who's determined, who focus on himself and don't look at others. You know, great athletes never look at other athletes. And for me, that's what it was. I never looked at other players. I always looked at me, and I looked at myself getting better. And, you know, starting my career with the Mets organization and going through that organization and playing those 8 years in Queens was a joy for me to be able to do that. You know, forever thankful for the fact that I had the opportunity to play most of my career in New York, and coming back playing for the Yankees. Of course, I did play for the Dodgers too, and the Giants. So it looked like I really got all the New York teams, the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants, the New York Yankees, and the New York Mets. So it was fun. It was always a treat to be out there on the field. I didn't fear anybody. I only feared one person, and that was Nolan Ryan. You know, even though I got a couple big home runs off of him, but I had a lot of fear facing him because he was an old school type of pitcher and he was different. So I had a lot of fun, you know, being able to be successful and winning championships, 3 with the Yankees, 1 with the Mets. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. When you look back over your career, did you accomplish the things that you started out to? And I did, you know, and when I watched baseball, because I was a big fan of the Cincinnati Reds and I was a big fan of Pete Rose. So Pete Rose was really my idol growing up, him and Dave Parker. And I saw them play baseball. I wanted to play baseball because of those guys.
Well, Darryl, let's tell everybody, one, the connection with you and Shorter University. A big event. Dr. Dowless is here with us, and I know he has a few things he'd like to say. And step into the microphone there and kind of tell the connection, how Darryl and Shorter University are connected this year.
You and what Jesus Christ has done for you. And we feel a connection because our mission is to advance God's kingdom. And we do that through academic life, study, spiritual growth, Christian leadership, and global service. And so we believe we have similar missions, and we're so excited about you being here. I know our folks would like to know how Jesus Christ has impacted your mission and how you see the similarities with Shorter.
Well, Doyle, thanks again, and thanks for having me, and thank you for being here. It's a part of what you do is what you just talked about, you know, the academics and the education and the spiritual part people's lives. I think it's so important that we empower this younger generation with the love of Jesus Christ. I think church is missing in so many young people's lives, and I think it's important to be able to explain to them that Christ is the only hope, the only hope for your salvation. There's no other way of getting salvation. You could try every way. You could try to achieve, all these great things from an earthly standpoint, and at the end of the day, it won't mean nothing if you're not born again and you haven't had a revelation with Christ, because that's eternal life. And that's my whole message that I try to bring, as I travel this nation, is bring the hope and the love of Jesus Christ and what He's already done at the finished cross. I mean, at the foot of the cross, what He has done, the finished work that He has done on the cross. Put it more like that. He's done it for all of us, and I mean, it's freely given. I mean, I know my mother was praying for me when I was living a heathen lifestyle, playing Major League Baseball. She wasn't concerned about my baseball career. She was more concerned about my salvation. And she went home to be with the Lord at the age of 55 from terminal breast cancer. And I just can't wait to give her a hug. After finding a journal under her bed, she was praying that God would save me and knock me off my throne. Hoo, go mom! God did exactly what you prayed for. So that's the importance, I think, of being a man of faith and coming and bringing hope to just a generation of people to tell them that God is the answer, and He always will be the answer. I think we think all this other stuff is important, and at the end of the day, it is Christ who has paid the price for every last one of us.
Well, Darryl, let me ask you, you said earlier, you mentioned that, when you put the baseball uniform on, you were a baseball player first. And as far as a man goes, I mean, you were just a baseball player based on what was going on in your life at that time. When did you realize there's got to be something more? When had you just had enough and said, okay, Darryl Strawberry, I've got to get things straightened out? When did that happen?
I think I always knew that, even when I was playing baseball and even when I was running around the bases, hitting home runs and celebrating and winning championships and stuff like that. I always knew it was something more than just a baseball uniform, because when you take the uniform off, who are you? And that's what most of us do in life. We have these platforms and what we do, that's not who you are. That's just what you do. And to realize that was just what I was doing all those years. And I think I realized it, through, and I need to say this because this is real important, because what I love about God is never going to do anything different. He's going to always do what He's always done. He's going to always use people to help people. And what I mean by that, He's going to use people to lead other people to Him. And I would have to say, for me, it is my wife, Tracy, who God used to lead me back into the church to Him. And that's how my life got changed. Through my struggles, my downfalls, my brokenness, she was the one that was leading me back into the church, and she was the one leading me back to the cross. And when she led me back into church, I want most people to understand, I didn't get like this overnight. It was a process. So I just know people need to know it's a process, it's a growing process of getting this way and having a transformation. And I had to sit for 7 years to be discipled. So discipleship is so important, and a lot of people don't talk about that. They talk about come to God and then things are going to be great and everything's going to change. But I went through this whole transformation of discipleship, learning who God is, so I can understand the Bible, because the Bible talks about it clearly. My people perish because of lack of knowledge and everything. So I was perishing because I had knowledge of earthly knowledge, but I didn't have kingdom knowledge. And when I went through the process of being discipled and going through that whole process of being in church and growing, then God released me, and then I started to move forward. So my wife is the biggest blessing in my life, to sit here and tell you, if it's not my mother, it's her. I always say God's got a great sense of humor. He used 2 women to straighten me out. So He does have a great sense of humor.
Dr. Dowless, let me ask you this. How does Darryl's story and the mission of Shorter come together? What are the similarities there?
Well, I think Darryl has already mentioned it. God breaks all of us. And if He doesn't, He can't build us into what we need to be. And we have students who have similar stories. We have faculty and staff who have similar stories of where God has come into their life through someone else. And we just think Darryl will be an inspiration to our students. We have a lot of athletes. We have a lot of high academic students, but they need to hear somebody who has gone through life, who's achieved a lot of great things, but who also believes that Jesus Christ is the greatest person who has ever lived. So we're very thankful for that. And to have someone like Darryl to be able to articulate that, share that in the fashion he's done today is just a marvelous inspiration for us. So we feel fortunate and thankful that the Lord is going to use you to impact Shorter University.
Well, thank you. And I really look forward to it. You know, like I said, you know, it's great when you get to empower young people and get to empower them with the right message. You know, the message of the cross. You know, it's not about how great I was or what I achieved. Yes, I achieved a lot of great things, and there's a lot of great athletes out there still hanging on to their trophies and all that they have done. But the real platform is knowing the symbol of the cross, knowing the reason in the season of life is because of Jesus that we have an opportunity to go back and have an impact on so many lives, not just because we play sports, but because of the message of the Bible, you know, and it's the gospel. It's the good news that changes people. It's not going to be a home run. It's not going to be a touchdown. It's not going to be a championship. It is the gospel of Jesus Christ that's been changing people forever. And it's not until that get a hold of one's life, they will never understand the purpose of life. You'll just be here, you know, you'll just, like I said, you'll just accumulate a bunch of stuff, but you won't know who you are. And I think that's what it was for me. I had the wrong identity. I think my mother was so concerned about my salvation more than my success. And I'm grateful for that because I can see that now today, that the salvation means more to me than my success meant to me.
Well, this is just an example, just a small sample of what people I think are going to be get a treat for coming up with the President's Gala in December. And Darryl Strawberry will be here in Rome at Shorter University at the President's Holiday Gala. And it's going to be a great way to celebrate the 150 years of higher learning for Shorter. And of course, this is an event that the students will get from the proceeds will benefit student scholarships. And I think the inspiration, that's the monetary, but the spiritual, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I can't wait to hear the rest of the story, as the great Paul Harvey would say. And Darryl, I think you're going to inspire a lot of people when you come and speak at Shorter.
Well, I surely hope so, and I surely hope, you know, many people that are listening will, you know, come to the event, support the event. Like you said, 150th year. You know, you think about that and all that they have done, you know, spiritually to help so many people. And I think this nation needs to know, you know, spiritually, we have turned, you know, God is calling us to come back. We have turned from God's principles and turned into all the wicked ways of, you know, the world has now. We forgot the most important thing, and we forgot the biblical principles. You know, that's the foundation of who we are. And God's calling these people to come back, you know, and then hopefully, you know, this night will be a great night that a lot of people will be able to hear, you know, my testimony of how God transformed my life and changed me and called me to be an evangelist, just like Billy Graham, and travel this nation. I could never imagine I would be able to do some of the things that I'm doing. They far greater. What I do today is far greater than any home run I ever hit, because you hit the biggest home run for Jesus. And when you win another soul to Christ, you know, that's eternal. And that's what's so important. So I just hope everybody in the community would understand that, and those that are don't attend the school, that, you know, have opportunity to come to this event. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great event.
And I want to encourage everyone to go to shorter.edu/gala. Get your tickets, get the information that you need to find out about Darryl Strawberry, not the baseball player. Yes, great baseball player. And now he's a great man of God. And I think the two will be very inspirational. Dr. Dowless, would you like to add anything to this?
Well, I think that's exactly it. To come here and see how Jesus Christ is using a man to share the gospel. He's given him great talent, and he's using that talent now to extend the kingdom of God, which is exactly the mission of Shorter, to advance God's kingdom. So we appreciate you coming. We appreciate what you're saying, and we appreciate Jesus Christ using you in a very powerful way to extend his kingdom.
Darryl, thank you very much. It was great talking with you, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
All right. I look forward to seeing you guys.